Hello, welcome to Friday mobility class. And this week we're going to be working on our feet. This is a very, very important part of our bodies. Our feet, probably the root of so many other issues in our body, can have origin in our feet. If we don't have a good mobility in our feet and ankles, that problem is going to continue up the chain, up our legs, affect our knees, our hip, our low back, even our shoulders, our neck, you name it. So it's really important that we maintain a very good, healthy, mobile feet and ankles. Even if you're not an athlete, even if you're not running marathons, if you're just a very light athlete, just walking with feet that have a problem, just walking can generate other problems in your knees and, as I said, further up the musculoskeletal chain. So I am a big advocate of setting the feet free and letting our feet really do their work of sensing the surface where we're walking, of adjusting to those differences in the terrain to keep us balanced. So walking barefoot is probably the number one thing you can already do to improve your foot and ankle mobility. And not only walking barefoot at home where the surface is very plain, right? But walking barefoot in different kinds of substrates. So going outdoors, going outside and taking off your shoes and feeling with your feet the substrate, and allowing your toes to spread and allowing your feet to adjust and to balance you. That is a key thing that you can do for the long-term well-being of your feet. So today, we are going to do some exercises, some specific exercises. Some of these exercises we've already covered in previous foot mobility classes, but I am going to still repeat them because you probably haven't seen the previous classes. So if you have seen previous foot mobility classes, you'll find some of these exercises familiar. We will need a few things: a tennis or lacrosse ball, a brick or a yoga block. You can also, what we'll do with the block, you can also do it on a stair or on a sidewalk. So any raised surface where that is stable, that you can press your body weight into. And we're also going to give ourselves some self-care, and we're going to massage our feet. So I'm going to use, for this foot massage, I'm going to use coconut oil because it's really hot today, and coconut oil has a cooling properties. So I highly recommend using coconut oil, especially in this time of summer. I don't know about where you guys are, but I'm in Davis, in California, and we're in a really intense heat wave. We're gonna have over 100 Fahrenheit degree weather this week. So I'm using coconut to cool myself down. And what else? And some cushions to feel very comfortable. Oh yes, and a small towel so that you can clean the oil off of your feet once we're done with the massage portion, so you don't slip and slide on your way out. It's very important that we remove the oil from our feet to avoid any sliding. Okay, so I want us to start with the foot massage. So I'm going to tilt the camera a little bit lower so we have a good view of what we're doing. So I'm sitting up on 2 big cushions to stay as comfortable as possible. You can also do this on a chair or sitting on the edge of your bed. Just make sure that you have full access to your feet. So if sitting on the floor is uncomfortable for your low back, please sit on a chair. And I am going to scoot back so we can get started with the massaging. And I'm just going to use the block as a little footstool here. We'll make it a little bit easier. Actually, I want to tilt even a little bit lower so we can really focus on what's happening here. All right. And you can keep the towel nearby as well if you don't want to spill the oil anywhere. You can use any other type of oil or lotion for your body, anything that's good for skin and that you enjoy. Okay, so I'm just taking a little bit of the coconut oil, putting it in my hand, rubbing it nicely, and oh, it feels so good on the feet. I'm actually going to roll this up a little bit. Okay, so what are we looking for when we massage our feet? Or when we massage any part of our body, really. And the first thing that comes to mind is to feel good, right? I want to feel release. I want to feel relief. I want to feel cared for. So first of all, just allow yourself some time to just feel your feet and spread the lotion or the oil, whatever it is that you're using, and just feel. Feel each toe, feel between each toe, feel the top of the foot, and we can include the ankle here. And really any type of movement is fine as far as how to do this feeling, this first feeling part. Any type of touch is totally valid. If it feels right, you're doing it right. And of course, feel the sole of the foot. Now I'm going to use the thumbs on the arch. So I'm kind of like sandwiching my foot a little bit, and depending on your flexibility or your comfort to really bring your foot close to you, you can do this in several different ways. But try to press with your body, so your whole body forward and onto your foot through the thumbs. And of course, it's not so easy sometimes to adjust, but do your best. Okay. And now my favorite thing to do is to interlace my fingers through my toes. So I'm going to bring my foot over my other knee, and I'm going to bring the palm of my hand to the sole of my foot and interlace the fingers in the toes, like this. Give the foot or the ankle, give it a little bit of space so that you can circle the ankle with the keeping the fingers interlaced. This already feels really nice. Make sure to go both ways. All right, release that. And I'm gonna roll my tights up a little bit more. And now let's massage the whole shin. Going up and down the shin. And we'll make like a clamp. So interlace your fingers and you'll clamp the heel of your hands to create pressure along the muscles next to the shin bone. Try to feel the edges of the bone and press into the edge of the bone that meets the muscle. There's some pretty tender spots there. It's really helpful to massage, release, and stimulate circulation in this way. You can also use your thumbs or the heel of the hand on one side and the thumb on the other to go up the edge that we're talking about. And you might find some interesting sensations along the way. And you can also massage the calves a little bit in the back here. And let's go to the Achilles tendon. So I'll show a little bit sideways. Just dig your fingers a little bit into the back of the ankle here and the Achilles tendon. You can use different angles if you'd like. All right, and let's go to the other foot. Oh, before we go to the other foot, take the towel and dry off the excess oil from the sole. And the other side. Making sure that we don't make a mess, so keep the towel as protection. Coconut oil is one of those magical substances. It's really good for the body, outside and inside. All right, let's roll this up. And starting first with just feeling the foot. And get curious about your feet. Get curious about your body. Know your body. Explore and feel the sensation of touch in each part of the foot. Each toe, between the toes, the sole, the top. Move the toes a little bit. Now with both hands, I'm going for the sole of the foot. And I'm putting pretty good amount of pressure with my thumbs into the sole. Once you've explored the sole, go to the top. And now interlace the fingers through the toes. Palm to sole, and get those fingers through. And circles. As you do circles, you can, with the other hand, you can press the ankle, squeeze the sole. Maybe rub the sole a little bit more with your thumbs. Make sure to go in both directions. All right, release that. And let's go to the shin, and the muscles along the shin bone. So there's some pretty tender spots here on the lateral side of the shin bone, meaning the outer side. And there's also some very interesting spots on the inner side, the inner edge. Interlace the fingers and create a little clamp. And run that clamp, that pressure up and down your shin. Sorry for the banging noises. I have some guys fixing the roof. You might hear some more hammering. If you find an interesting spot that has more intensity, more sensation, maybe spend a little bit more time there exploring that sensation. You can also use your thumbs to press on more specific spots. The clamping works really well. And just notice the different places where you have those interesting sensations. Maybe go over it a little bit more. And Achilles tendon. Using your thumbs and your fingers to squeeze along the tendon. And also the heel. I didn't mention the heel in the other side, but you can use both thumbs to rub the inside of the heel. And again, there can be some tender spots here, but remember that you're doing it to yourself. So you can always go a little bit more gentle and apply less pressure if it's too much for you. And a little bit of massage also in the calf muscles. There's the roof bangers. All right. And let's remove the excess oil. Great. Roll this down. Now we're going to use the ball. So before we get up, we can use the ball. We'll use the ball along this the outer edge of the shin. So I want to focus on this muscle right here, which is in the front and lateral of your shin bone. So just go ahead and palpate your knee and then follow it down the shin bone and immediately to the lateral side. So right there is a pretty tender spot, and it goes all along down towards the foot. So you can use a block to give yourself a little bit more height, or a book. And you'll need to be creative here and adjust. So what we want to do is press our body weight into that muscle. So you can either stay with the block, try a cross-legged position. Another thing you can do is to take the other leg back. And this might actually be more accessible for everyone. And I'm bringing the ball right to that spot. And I immediately feel the intensity of that place. With the other hand, just lean your body weight down the arm and down the knee so that you feel pressure with the ball. And depending on your level of tolerance, you can maybe come to lean your forearm and even press a little bit more weight with the other hand. It feels intense, but it feels like an intense release. And we'll continue to move the ball towards the foot, finding different spots, leaning in, and taking a few deep breaths here. And just keep going, gradually moving the ball down towards the foot. Now another thing that's really interesting here, if you give yourself some space, is to move the foot. Flex and extend. Flex and extend. And boy, it feels quite intense when you move, but it's really great. It's flushing, it's kind of like flushing the tendons, or flossing. Some people call it flossing. And I'm still going down. I continue to move the ball down towards the foot, and I'm applying body weight down. Quite intense when you move the foot, flex and extend. And I'm coming all the way down until I hit almost the ankle bone. There's a point where you don't feel soft tissue anymore, and that's where we're going to stop. Great. Wow, it's pretty good. And tightness in this part of our shin actually can affect how much we can flex and extend our ankle. So releasing these muscles are very important to the health of the ankle. Let's go to the other side. So I'm liking this position with the other leg back. All right, so starting just below the knee and leaning in. Either with the hand or the forearm. I find that if I bring my forearm down, I'm applying more pressure. And slowly changing spots, and then give yourself some space. So maybe the block is too high, so I want to create a little bit of space here. I'm going to roll the blanket there so I can lift my foot off the ground and be able to flex and extend while pressing down into the ball. Continue to move slowly the ball down towards the foot. And it might be interesting to notice sometimes there's differences from one side to the other, and that's totally normal. I mean, it's very common because we tend to favor one side also as we walk, just like we favor one hand over the other. We also favor one leg more than the other. Woo. Some of those spots can be pretty intense. Try to take deep breaths into the intensity. So don't let yourself get too agitated. Slowing it down and being patient is the way to go here. Pretty close to the ankle. And let's finish that. Good job, everyone. Shake it out. Now we're going to come up to standing. Move the cushions to the side. Shake out your legs. Feels quite different right now in my legs. Okay. And we'll use now the ball on the sole of our foot. And I always do this exercise. I always encourage people to massage, do this myofascial release of the foot with the ball. So first I'm going back and forth along the arch, toe to heel. And since we've already been warming up, we've already done a few things to release, I'm getting a little more intense here with the speed. Back and forth, back and forth. And the tennis ball is good for the feet because it has more give, so it's not so intense. The lacrosse ball is more firm, so it can be a little bit too intense. So I'm really liking the tennis ball for the feet. If you find a place that feels interesting, you can focus there. For example, it's quite interesting towards the heel. There's 27 bones in the feet. Imagine 27, or is it 26? I think it's 26 and 27 in the hand. So just like our hands move and have so much expression, so do our feet. Our feet also need to be able to articulate and have movement between all of those 26 bones. All right, I'm going to give that a rest. So to give it a rest, what I feel right now that my foot needs is to press the top of the toes into the floor. So go ahead and you can use the wall to support yourself. Take the leg back and press the toes into the floor and extend your body forward. So you feel that stretch all the way from the toes up to the front of the leg. Okay. And you can still use the wall for support if you need to. Now we're going to circle the feet and the ankle. So I'm going over the toes and then under. I'm making a full circle with my ankle. Change direction. And count about 10 circles in each direction. Great. Second side. I'm going to tilt this a little bit more up. Okay. Second side. Going a little bit more, with a little bit more speed to really work through the fascia of the sole of the foot. Again, you can have your hand on the wall if you need a little bit more support and balance. So we can really focus on feeling this on our foot. And also, you don't have to be standing for this. You can be seated. So it's totally fine to still be seated on a chair and work the sole of the foot in this way. And that said, if you are spending long hours at the desk seated, bring a tennis ball to the office or your desk, wherever that is. Might not be going to the office, but at home. You can be seated, working on your computer, and be playing with a ball under the desk with your feet. And I highly recommend getting into that habit. Okay, so I'm looking for different interesting spots where I feel that maybe I need a little bit more release. Towards the heel feels really interesting to me. Also the inner side of the arch. So I'm coming into a little bit of an angle to feel or to press into the inner side of the arch. That feels really interesting. And I'm letting the foot be soft, receptive. So I'm not really tensing the foot to receive this, but I am allowing the foot to be as soft as possible so it can really mold into the ball. All right, and now take that foot back. Press the toes into the floor, top of the toes into the floor. And extend the leg all the way from the front of the hip back. And if you need to support yourself on the wall, do so. And circles, going over and under the toes. Count about 10 in each direction. Okay. Good job. Shake it out. Shake your feet out. Loosen it up. Loosen up also the shoulders. Why not? Your head. A couple circles in each direction. All right. And now the brick. More stretching. This time with the brick or the block, we're focusing more on the ankle and the Achilles tendon. But let's do a test first before we go down to the block. Let's first test how we feel in our squat. Of course, we've already worked the feet, so we don't have a point of reference before we started. Sorry, guys. But let's go ahead and squat and see if you can do that without having to hold on to the wall or to a chair. Maybe you need a chair, and that's totally okay. Your hands can be on the edge of the chair, and you slowly lower yourself down and up. Keep the feet parallel, so toes are all pointing forward. And make sure that your heels are also in line. And see how it feels to squat. And you want to squat without lifting the heels off the ground. So just see how far you can go. See if you can go all the way without lifting the heels. And back up. If you're squatting down, you're like, oh, okay, here I started to lift the heels, then you know that try to register where that spot is. And we're gonna see if it changes at all. Okay, so let's start with our left foot. So bring the ball of the foot to the block and let the toes be soft. So first, we'll take a little bit of a wider stance, and first we'll bend the knee and lean forward until you feel a very nice stretch all along the Achilles tendon and the calves. And let's do about 10 reps. There's the roof fingers. All right, and now let's hold. So bend the knee and just see how far the knee can go forward. Hold here for another breath and release. Now we'll keep the leg extended, take a step forward. So it's a more narrow stance, and we'll just lean forward and back. So I'm pushing off the other foot to bring my center of gravity over the front foot, the foot that's on the block. And we'll do about 10 reps. And then we'll hold. Leaning forward and feeling that stretch in the back. And release. Shake it out. And second side. Taking a wider stance. And bend the knee to lean your body weight forward and back. And we'll do 10 of these. Now hold. Feeling that stretch in the back of the calf. And release. Step closer. And now leaning forward, using the back foot to propel you forward. And all of this you can do it with a hand on the wall. 10 reps. And now holding, keeping your body weight over the brick and feeling that stretch in the back of the calf and the Achilles tendon. And release. Shake it out. All right, so now we get to test our squat again. So bring the feet about hip width apart, spread the toes, keep the feet parallel to each other, and either with your hands on a chair or just counterbalance, reaching the arms forward. See how far you can go without lifting the heels off the ground. And let's do 2 more reps. Now, I'm going pretty deep in my squat here, so it's not so much a gym squat. I'm allowing my hips to really sink down. And now stay down. If your heels are lifted, no problem. Just roll the blanket and give yourself a little bit of a lift here. So heels on the blanket, come into your squat. And we're going to hang out here for a little bit. And I love doing squats. I always do squats in my yoga classes because squatting is such an important position for our body. It's such a primal body position. And it's important that we keep our body mobile enough to be able to adopt these very basic positions. And I know it's not easy these days because we've adapted to chairs and we don't sit so much on the floor, at least in different cultures across the world. Some cultures or communities still sit a lot on the floor. So then their squatting is easier. Their mobility in their hips and their ankles and their legs is a little bit easier. So let's not allow ourselves to get too adapted or maladapted for that matter, and try to keep ourselves as mobile as possible so that we are comfortable in our bodies throughout our life, especially as we grow older. All right, and let's slowly lift the hips. Take a forward fold, and you can just shake out your legs a little bit, and bend the knees to come up to standing. Shake out your feet if you need to, and shake out your booty. Loosen it up. Loosen up the booty. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna come back to our squatting, but this time we're going to take a different approach, a different angle. So we'll take our feet a little bit wide. Turn the toes out a little bit. And so we're going to bend one knee and bring our body weight over to that side. Now if you need to go a little bit wider to make that more comfortable, please adjust. So we're gonna go side to side. Slow and control. Keep both feet on the floor, on the mat, and squeeze them towards the midline. So as I come to this side, that other foot is hugging in. So as I come up, not only am I pushing to extend this leg, but I'm pulling the other leg in. Come down, squeeze in to come up. So you want to feel that it's as if this floor was slippery and you had to really hug in, otherwise you slide and spill out. So let's do 2 more to each side. I'm really taking my hips back here as well. Okay, and now heel toe your feet closer to each other. Turn the toes out, and we'll come into a squat with the knees and the toes pointing out. It's a wide squat. Press the knees out with your elbows, and we'll hang out here for a little bit too. Okay. Your hands can stay here together, or you can have your hands on the floor, or you can also be holding onto the chair. So all of this you can adjust according to where you are at today with your mobility. And we're going side to side. And notice how I'm opening this knee out and letting this one come forward. And here the heels do get to lift. Here this heel is lifting. So I'll release my hand so you can see. So I'm really playing here, shifting my weight to one side and to the other. And we're going to go in a full circle. You can use your hands on the floor to support you. Full circle, and the other way. Great, back to center. Press the knees out. Deep breath. And exhale. Hands to the floor, lift the hips, and turn the heels out. Fold forward. And bend the knees to slowly come back up to standing. All right, let's give the knees a break. And we'll do a little balancing. I'm going to take the blanket out. let's start on our leaning on our left leg. So really spread the toes. Spread them out. Press the big toe down. Fan the other toes out and then bring them down. Just very broad in the toes. Hands to the hips or one hand to the wall. And bend your knees slightly. And we'll take the right toes forward, out to the side, to the back, and all the way across. I'm going to show it like this. Front, side, back, and all the way across. And all the way back. So you can do it with as steps, touching each one of the 4 directions, or you can do it as a circle. And let's do 3 more. Release. Shake it out. And let's go to the other side. Bend the standing. Oh, first fan the toes out. So bring the big toe down, open the other toes, and then press them down, creating lots of space between the toes. And still pull the arch up. So you're not allowing the foot to be completely relaxed, but there's a lot of action in that foot. And bend the knee just a little bit. Toes forward, side, back, and all the way across. Bringing it back. So test it out first as little steps. Test your balance. And if you want to do it like that, stopping in each one, you can do that, or you can circle all the way around. Who is that? All the way across. And release, shake it out. It's a pretty good one. All right, another balance pose, this time we'll lift the other leg. So same process, bring the big toe down, separate the toes, plant that foot nice and firm into the ground. And we'll start with the right knee up. Interlace your fingers in front of the shin and lean back. Just notice how the ankle works to adapt and support our weight. Now slowly take the knee out to the side. Back to the front. Hold it with the other hand. And now open to look all the way behind you. And I'm cheating a little bit. I found the wall. It's okay. And slowly let go of the wall. So you give your ankle that opportunity to work into balance. Okay, second side. Right foot, spread those toes. Big toe down, fan the toes out, and root. Bring the left knee up, interlace. Find your balance, lean back. Now I'm doing this on carpeted floor, so it's harder to balance on soft floor. If you're on wood floor or any hard surface, I feel that the balance is easier. Let's go ahead and open the knee out. The ankle is working. And across. And look all the way behind. And slowly come back to center and release. Ooh, shake it out. That's pretty good work. Okay, now that our feet have worked so much, I just feel like we need to give them a little bounce. Let's go ahead and jump a little bit. And I'm really pushing off with my toes. Push off with the toes. Let's get a little bit creative and jump out and in. And now cross, alternating which foot goes in front. Woo! It's good exercise. Jumping. All right. Do we have a little bit more jumping in? I also want us to jump side to side. Side to side. Really using the foot and the ankle to receive the weight of the body. Bend your knee as you land, bend that knee. All right. Now I feel like we need to do some salsa moves. Get those feet going. Who knows how to dance salsa? If you go full night salsa dancing, chances are your feet are going to be tired. So all these exercises are great to also keep up your dancing. Not kidding about the salsa dancing. Go ahead, give it a try. Even if you've never salsa dancing, just move your hips and step side to side. The important thing about moving our bodies is to have joy, to celebrate our bodies exactly as it is, and celebrate the capacity to express our life through our body, through movement. All right. And oh, Brad says he can't hear me. Geez, I hope we had audio this whole time. Okay. Thank you everyone for following the foot mobility class. It was, I didn't plan on ending dancing, but it just felt right. This weekend, think about going out into nature, into finding different interesting terrains, and allowing your feet to be free, to feel, to sense, to connect to the earth through your feet. It's so important, and it's so good for you too. Just dig your toes into the sand, into the gravel, into the grass, wherever you're at. Walk on a log. Try to balance walking across a fallen tree, and let yourself test out your balance. Maybe if you're a surfer, you know what I'm talking about. All right, everyone, have fun this weekend and stay cool. It's pretty hot here in California. I'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.